so much more responsive than the Z125. What's going on YouTube? R2R Moto here, and today we're out here in the stunt lot with my buddy Kyle, aka Team Grom OG, who is rolling me a water right now that is trying to roll away from me. Got it. But anyway, he graciously let me use his Honda Grom in today's video. And what is today's video, you might ask? Well, if for some reason you didn't see the title of the video or the thumbnail, today we're going to be talking about the differences between the Honda Grom and the Z125 PRO from Kawasaki. So let's roll the intro and get into today's video. Alright, so if you're thinking about buying the Honda Grom or the Z125 PRO, the first thing that's going to influence your decision one way or the other is going to be the price. So when you're looking at the Kawasaki Z125, you're looking at $31.99 MSRP versus the Honda Grom, which is $33.99 MSRP. Now with the Honda Grom, you also do have two different options. If you do not want to stunt or do anything like stoppies or anything like that, and you're purely buying this bike to learn and you want to have the best safety options available, they do also make the Honda Grom with ABS as opposed to the non-ABS version, which I think this is. And with that, you have the option, so ABS is automatic braking system, and that one's going to run you about $35.99 MSRP. So basically a $200 difference between stock Grom and ABS Grom. Now besides that, the biggest difference that you're going to be looking at between the two of these bikes is going to be the seat height and the tank capacity. So with the Honda Grom, seat height you're looking at 30 inches I believe, and tank size is 1.45 gallons versus the Z125 PRO, which is going to be 31.7 or 32 inches of seat height and 2 gallons of fuel capacity. So I know with the Honda Grom, it rates it on Honda's website as 134 miles per gallon. So if you're looking at buying the Z125, it's definitely going to do better than that because the tank size is bigger depending on how you ride. But overall, between the two of these bikes, when you're looking at it, honestly, they both look really good to me. One thing that I'm interested to see later on when I sit on that bike versus this bike is that people often say, with the Z125, with this seat, you're sitting in the bike. Now the bike looks like a miniature little sport bike, and they definitely say with the seat you're sitting inside of the bike, so it feels like you're locked in, versus the Honda Grom. Now this is an aftermarket seat on here, but they say that you're sitting more so on top of the seat. Now I'm going to be really interested to see how that actually is when I get to sit on the Honda Grom later. But really, that's going to be the biggest two differences between these bikes if they were both stock. Now obviously you can see this bike is not stock. It has a lot of different modifications on it, from the crash cage, the exhaust, the handlebars, the grips, the axle sliders, the crash protection, aka the rear sets, and I believe the shock is upgraded. Yeah, it's got a lot of different aftermarket parts on it. And the biggest thing between the Grom and the Z125 is that Honda is going to give you a lot more aftermarket support. Now this bike did start in 2014 versus this bike in 2017. So when you're looking at the differences between stunt parts and things like that, this bike is definitely going to have a lot less than the Honda Grom. Now, I'm not saying that if you get a Z125 you're not going to find a lot of parts for it, but the biggest thing with the Z125 is you're going to have a hard time finding ones that are actually in stock. Now I've been looking at a lot of different things for my Z125 PRO with different types of rear sets and different types of like sliders and crash protection for this bike, and there isn't a lot that's actually available for this bike. Now with this bike there are some parts, but the biggest thing with the parts that are available for this bike, they're mainly all sold out. And that's probably due to the fact that with the Z125 PRO, you're going to have a bike that's newer than the Honda Grom. So this, like I said, came out in 2017 versus, I believe, 2014. And with manufacturers, they don't have a lot of readily parts available for this bike. And the ones that are all sold out because, I mean, with the people that already bought this bike for stunting have already bought those parts. And, I mean, with the amount of people that ride this bike, manufacturers don't really see a need excuse me, to continue to buy or make parts for this bike. Versus the Honda Grom, I mean, if you're looking at one of these two bikes, you already probably know someone who has a Honda Grom, so obviously you can see the wealth of parts that are on this bike. Between the two of these bikes, if you want to get one just for stunting or modding it, go with the Honda Grom. It's definitely going to give you more options currently than the Z125. With this bike, you're going to be waiting a lot longer for parts than you would if you bought a Honda Grom. Now, the one thing I will give you a quick sound bite of is my exhaust versus his exhaust. Now, I have the Yoshimura RS2 exhaust on my bike versus on his bike. He has the Brox exhaust. I don't know the exact name of it, but it is a Brox exhaust. I'll try to put that up on the screen right here. But anyway, with the Z125, you got to pull in the clutch to actually start the bike. Now that's what my exhaust sounds like, the Yoshimura RS2. The bike is warmed up, so I'll give you a couple little revs real quick. So yeah, that's what my bike sounds like. So if you're thinking about getting an exhaust for the Honda Grom or the Z125, that is one of the options that you have, is the Yoshimura RS2 versus coming over here to the Honda Grom. Now I don't know if you can get the Brox exhaust for the Z125 Pro. I know there are a couple of different exhausts that you can get between the two of these bikes that share, but when it comes to the Honda Grom, I'm not sure, actually the Z125, if you can get this exhaust. Cool thing about the Honda Grom, you don't have to pull in the clutch to actually start the bike. On the Brox exhaust, I think it looks like he still has the dead cat or silencer or whatever it's called in here. So the bike is definitely a little bit quieter. It's also not my bike, so I'm not going to rev it super hard for you. But yeah, that's what the Brox exhaust sounds like. It's definitely quieter. So if you want something that's not stock, but you want to be able to ride it around and you know, keep the cops off of you when you do some wheelies and stuff like that, check out the Brox exhaust for the Honda Grom. I'll check to see before putting out the video if you can also get it from the Z125 Pro, but I'm not exactly sure on that. So yeah, overall takeaways is you can't really go wrong with either of these bikes. I love my Z125 Pro personally. If you're going with the Honda Grom, you definitely have more options to mod it out. Now hopefully, like I said before, Team Grom OG will actually let me ride his Honda Grom so I can get a little bit of comparison between how they ride and how the seat feels. But for right now, we're going to take a little pause to the video, get some water, because it's hot out here, people. So I'll see you when we're hopefully on the Honda Grom. All right, we're back, and we are now on this 2016 Honda Grom. Man, and like I said before, it definitely is true. It definitely feels like I am sitting on top of this bike more so than inside of it. I don't know if you guys have the opportunity or own both or have the opportunity to ride both and you think differently than I do. Let me know down below in the comments, but to me it definitely feels like I'm sitting more on top of this bike than I am inside of it. Also, so my bike has the stock foot pegs. His has rear sets on them, so getting used to that is interesting. But overall, I mean, this bike feels really good. It sounds really good. I know that the sprockets are upgraded on this bike. It's got definitely the different handlebars. It's got the Pro Taper mini contour highs, I believe. Overall, I really like the feeling of this bike. Besides the seating position, it's not for me. I feel lower down to the ground, and I think personally because I'm taller, it feels a lot like I'm more so, I don't know, I feel like I'm more so like closer to the ground, and it's kind of getting to me just a little bit. However, I like the tank on this bike. I think the tank is definitely wider and higher. I think that's probably due to the rear sets that are also on this bike. But the bike definitely, like with my Z, my legs are over top of this bit right here on the tank, whereas on the Honda Grom, my legs are actually on the tank. Honestly, I could see myself owning, if I ever get tired, well, not tired, I should say, but if I ever get to the point where my Z125 is either out of commission or, you know, I just had it for so long that I put a lot of miles on it and the bike is time for like an upgrade. Ooh, the brakes are better than mine. I guess that's what stock will do versus not stock. Yes, I like this thing. It's nice. He's put a lot of upgrades onto it. The bike looks really good. But overall, between this and the Z125, like I said before, if you're buying a bike purely to mod it out, go with the Honda Grom. There's just a lot more readily available for this bike. I mean, like I said before as well, I've been trying to look for parts for my Z125, and everything that I look for is either sold out or is not made for the Z125. It's made for only the Honda Grom, which is definitely a bummer. But I mean, I can understand. Like I said, everybody has a Honda Grom as opposed to a Z125. Not that many people have one, at least as far as I can see. What is happening here? You're definitely not supposed to be parked there. Okay. I'd be interested to see what the speed of this bike is versus the speed of my Z. I mean, I know he's done different sprockets on it, so it would be cool to see. But overall, I mean, I already know from being on this bike, I'm definitely going to get the handlebars that he has on here, the Pro Taper mini contour highs, because these things feel good. I also really like the RSC one finger clutch. Now what I am noticing about this bike as well, that as opposed to my Z, now I believe this is the 2015 Honda Grom. I don't know if maybe the 2018, 19, or 20 have it, but I know that this bike does not have a gear indicator, whereas my Z125 does. Now it really does not matter when it comes to the Z125 or the Honda Grom if you have a gear indicator. I mean, you only have 4 gears, so it's really not that hard to keep track of. But overall, if you're a beginner on one of these two motorcycles, you're definitely going to like the gear indicator on the on the Z125, not Honda Grom, but on the Z125 a little bit better than you would not having one on the Honda Grom. I was hoping he went this way, but he didn't. But anyway, let's see a little bit how the speed on this bike is. Now the bike can do way higher than that. I'm just not letting it go there. Speaking of which, I don't know if I was in second, or not second, third or fourth there. Let's see. Third, second. Now am I going to be able to shift down one more time? Yes. Okay, so I wasn't fourth. I just wasn't pushing the bike as hard as it could go. But I don't want to push it that hard, especially around turns, because he does have a slightly flatter tire because he's been doing some wheelies. But overall, if you're thinking about buying either the Honda Grom or the Z125 Pro, honestly, what I would recommend you do, go to the dealership, sit on both of them. If you have a buddy that has one or the other, take it out for a test ride, see how you feel about it. Because like I said, if seat height, depending on your height, is something that's going to make or break your decision, you're definitely going to want to know that before you purchase one. If you're a little bit taller like me, I would definitely say go with the Z125. If you're a little bit shorter, go with the Honda Grom. But if you want a bike that you can mod out to hell, go with the Honda Grom. So I mean, there's a lot of back and forth. They're really in a short answer of which one of these two bikes should you buy, there's really no concrete answer. You can go either way, honestly. I like this bike, especially just from riding it the little bit that I have right now, and I love my my Z125. So either way, really, the only way I think you're going to be able to make a decision between the Honda Grom and the Z125 Pro is you got to have to sit on them and take it for a test ride, because overall, these bikes, they feel really similar. Where it's going to really come down to is how you end up modding this bike out. And like I said, I give the edge to the mod department to the Honda Grom over the Z125 Pro. So anyway, I'm going to go return this bike to Team Grom OG now so he can do some more wheelies on it. And like I said, check him out. Link in the description. He is better at wheelies than I am. So yeah, check out his channel. Show him some love. Go tell him to make some more videos, because he's good at wheelies. So I want to see some more videos from him as well. Ah, there he is on my bike. See? But yeah, like I said, if you guys enjoyed this video, I don't know why I said like I said, because I haven't said it yet. But anyway, if you guys enjoyed this video, hit that like button, subscribe to see more content in the future. And until next time, peace.